Hi guys, this is your girl, Black and Indigenous American. Thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna wait a little bit before I start talking, okay? So I'm in another hotel. It's the Courtyard Marriott. This is another Courtyard Marriott, not the same one. And right now I am trying to set up YouTube. They have direct TV here, which I'm not a fan of satellite, but whatever. Um, and so I remember when Sweet was saying, "Oh, I'm looking at you on my TV and my phone or her computer or whatever," and I thought that was kind of cool slash funny that she could see me on TV. And so this particular Courtyard Marriott has DirecTV, and they do have a slot where you can select YouTube, Netflix, and Amazon Prime Video. So if you have accounts for all three, you can utilize. Obviously, YouTube, you don't have to have an account. You just search. But yeah, I didn't use their Netflix to put my account in because I'm real particular about that, and I feel like I would have to put in my account information, like the login, and I'm sure VSPN is not being utilized. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, but it is free Wi-Fi. I don't really trust it, so. So, that's what I'm doing right now. So just give me a moment while I get YouTube up on the TV, because I kind of want to see how the screen looks, because apparently when I do um, vertical, right, when I turn my phone vertically, when I'm looking at myself on the YouTube TV, it's kind of smushed. So that way I have this phone horizontal. So I'm hoping that the 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 image is a lot better. So just give me a moment here to get on YouTube via the TV. One moment. Thanks for chiming in, one person viewing. Thank you for chiming in. Introduce yourself if you care to. I have a lot to say tonight. A lot to say. Where is YouTube on this thing? Let's see. Huh. I don't see YouTube on this TV now. That is the weirdest thing, because the past few nights I've been watching YouTube videos on this TV. So I don't know if it was a trial period or something and they got rid of it. That kind of sucks. But whatever. I'm checking out anyway tomorrow, so it really doesn't matter. Okay, I'm back. That was a fail, but whatever. So, all right, so I am at another Marriott, and it's a similar experience. I would say that this Marriott has brighter colors in the room. They did have free cookies in the lobby the other day. There's a couple of things that, like not having a do not disturb tag in the room. I had to ask for that. The conditioner, they use Paul Mitchell tea. I think it's tea tree oil, shampoo, conditioner, whatever brand, Paul Mitchell. They didn't have conditioner, and I wanted to try it, so I had to ask for that. They do recycle, guys. They do recycle. So you don't have to beg for them to recycle your stuff. See? They have a canister in your room. The last Courtyard, they did not. They had a recyclable bin next to the trash can in the lobby. So when Mr. and I was there, we constantly were collecting things to recycle, right? But then we had to tote all this stuff to the lobby looking stupid because people looking at us like, what are they doing? So anyway, whatever. Let's see. So I've been here since Sunday. Yeah, since this past Sunday. I have no major complaints about this place. They were accommodating as far as where I wanted to stay. I did not want to stay in the room that was facing a very busy road. So I'm within the courtyard itself, like facing the courtyard. It's been very quiet. I had no issues with noise. The beds have been comfortable. These are two queen size beds. Let's see, it's clean. They do have a little small refrigerator. There is a little small space to put something in their freezer. So it's enough space for 2 frozen dinners if you take it out of its packaging. Like tonight, I haven't tried this yet, but tonight I'm going to try this Guardian meatless non-GMO. It does have soy in it, but apparently that's better if it's non-GMO. I'm going to try this tonight after I do this video. And this is chicken without chicken in it, fajita bowl. It's made with rice, Guardian meatless chicken, which is soy, red and green bell peppers, black beans, caramelized onions, and corn with a Vesti Fiesta sauce. So this is probably going to be pretty good. One of my best buddies, she was telling me that their sausage is really good, and she thinks that I would like it. So maybe I would give it a go. I'm not comfortable with consuming a lot of soy because soy is like in everything, and most of it is genetically modified. But I'm going to go ahead and give this a go. Again, they claim they're non-GMO verified right there. So I'm going to give it a go and see what happens. Dairy free, you know, that's good. I'm really leaning towards the whole vegan thing. It can be challenging, but every year it becomes less and less challenging because there are people that are very creative in the kitchen that are helping the rest of us transition. Okay, so they find different recipes and they share it with us, especially on YouTube. So thanks, YouTubers, for creating channels to help the rest of us transition into more of a vegan lifestyle, right? So anyway, they have a very small refrigerator, but enough for, you know, a couple of things that I put in there throughout the week. The downside is both courtyards, they didn't have a microwave in the actual hotel. They have one microwave on each floor. So luckily, right across from my room is the microwave. So I don't have to like hike down the hallway. Sorry, I had to reconnect the video. So sorry about that. Okay, what I was saying is that they have one microwave on each floor. They don't have microwaves in the room, and that kind of sucks. But I lucked out and had access to a microwave across the room. So all in all, I would say on a scale of 1 being horrible, 5 being amazing, I would say that this place is more like a 3.5 star. Clean and comfortable and quiet, and that's what I like. And the other week when I was at Residence Inn Marriott, that actually is maybe a half a mile down the road from this place. This place is closer to the major highway that takes me to my JOB that's actually going against traffic, right? Reverse commute or whatever some people call it, which is beautiful. So I get to work within 15 to 20 minutes tops. So can't complain. Also, Chase, I'm using Chase credit card to pretty much pay for whatever, and then I just write a check through my regular checking account to pay for everything. and I'm getting rewards. I'm getting points and all that versus just using my debit card and not getting any points or rewards or whatever like that. I'm still paying for stuff, but I'm not getting rewarded. Chase, I'm getting rewarded, okay? It just makes sense. So Chase now has, if you book directly through Marriott, Sheraton, which is under Marriott, Hilton, Hyatt, major, really high quality hotels, you get 15% cash back, right? So I was balancing my receipts and all that to see how much I've been spending, right? Living in a hotel. And I saw my 15% cash back that was posted a few days ago. And it was $66. That's 15% of the base room charge. Not the room plus taxes and other fees. It's just the room rate, okay? Just FYI. And you get 15% back for the room rate, excluding taxes and fees and stuff. So anyway, not only did I get 15% off, right? I also used one of my buddies' best friends and family discount, right? So this place probably would have been 120, 130, maybe even 150 a night, this place. And I was able to stay here 89, what was it? No, not here, it was Residence Inn. I was able to stay there for $89 a night, which typically I think was 140 something. So that's friends and family, okay? And then on top of that, the 15% discount or cash back or whatever reward with Chase. So I'm like, okay, that's awesome. So anyway, last week and this week, Marriott booked directly through them and gonna get cash back for this place once I check out, which also will be another 60 something dollars, like $66 once that register. So I can't complain. And I'm actually going out of town this weekend, which I'm not going to have to pay for hotels. So that in of itself is a great great deal because I'm not paying anything, right? I'm not in a hotel. I'm at a residence. So I'm going out of town. I'll be leaving tomorrow. I'm actually going to get up at 5:45 in the morning, and I'm going to start driving at 7 a.m. and I'm out of here. And I'll be going on the coast. That's all I'm going to say for now. And it's a good 6.5 hours. I am planning on stopping twice, right? I'm going to drive a good 3.5 hours and then stop, get gas. I already know what gas station I'm going to stop at because this gas station has quality gas, and going further south, the gas prices are a lot cheaper. So that's my gas stop or pit stop. So I should be at my destination tomorrow between 1:30, I would say between 1 and 2 p.m. So that's how far I'm driving, just so you know. And then I'll be back late Monday and checking into the new place, which this place is also through a discount through a friend, and it's at Sleep In. Now, I've never stayed at Sleep In. I've read the reviews for this particular location, not too far from my job, and I didn't see anything close as far as what I dealt with at Extended Stay. Nothing close as far as reviews in a negative way. So I'll be there. Deep discounts. And then the last week of February, I'm going back to Sonesta. I'm using my points there. So the points that I've been collecting through Chase, I booked through Chase's travel port, used my points, and 2 nights I'm using my points. So there's a discount there, obviously. And that's how it is thus far, where as far as lodging and where I'm staying. Okay. Um, so that's all I have to say right now as far as hotels and deals. Again, Chase, I haven't had any hiccups. I don't I don't have anything negative to say. I did a quick search on YouTubers that read the fine print, and they have YouTube channels out there to help you pick the right credit cards based on your lifestyle and what you're looking for and the best rewards, right? Get the most for your money because you're already spending it anyway. You're already paying for your light bill. You're already paying for your cell phone. You're already getting groceries. You're already getting gas. Why not get rewarded? Why not get points towards hotels and travel and all that stuff? Why not? So that's what I'm doing. Okay, so guys, I've done quantum leap exercises. I found out about quantum leaping, metaphysical stuff, right? And I've done it before along with law of attraction and having my crystals and all of this stuff, right? Scribing, right? That's my journal back there. And I've showed you guys that journal before in one of my other videos. But writing out what I expect in my life as if it's already done. Hi, Auntie Pooh. Hi, Auntie Pooh. Auntie Pooh, once again, is my real sister, blood sister. Okay, we shared the same parents. So Auntie Pooh is my sister. Go check her out. Her and my niece Sade. Give them a like and subscribe. Okay. So hi, Auntie Pooh. Anyway, so that's my journal right there. Scribing, right? Scribing, creating my reality as if it's already done. Okay. So I've been consistent, and long story short, guys, I did a quantum leap last night. And what you do is you take 2 glasses of water, right? 1 glass here, 1 glass here. You write out on a post-it note, post-it or whatever, and you write out 1 or 2 things. You don't want to write too much on this notepad, but 1 or 2 things. It could be anything like I want to go to Paris. But then on one note, you write, I never can go to Paris. I'm so broke. I'll never be able to go to Paris and be in love and all this. And just get into this funk, right? Of just being depressed and you can't ever have nothing and can't go nowhere, right? On the other note, you write out, oh, I can go to Paris whenever I want. I can stay as long as I want. I love Paris. Paris loves me, right? Or something like that. So that's 2 sticky notes, right? You have your glass of water in one. And the first one is, oh, I can't ever go to Paris. I'm so broke. I never will find true love in Paris, whatever. That's on one glass. And what you do is you just focus on that glass of water and you keep speaking just low energy, just no hope, nothing that you wrote on your sticky note, right? That's that 1 glass of water. And after about 5 minutes or so, and you're feeling like, I just want to give up and just don't even think about Paris no more, okay? What you do is you pour that same water into the other glass, okay? You pour the same water into the other glass. The glass that has the sticky note on it that says, I love Paris and Paris loves me. I can go to Paris anytime I want. And money is not an object, right? Money is whatever. Money loves me. I love money, whatever. You ain't going nowhere if you ain't got no money. So in order to get to Paris, you need money. So you focus on that water, uplifting high vibrations or whatever. You focus and you focus and you focus, right? And after about 5 minutes or so, you drink that water of going to Paris and just loving the entire experience. Money is not an issue. You're really going to experience Paris the way you want to, right? You drink that. And according to quantum leaping, I think that's what they call it, you have just ingested what is going to be as if it's already done. Okay? So I did that last night. Not for Paris, but for other things. And again, this is not the first time I did it, but I did it last night. I didn't have any distractions, and I was able to really focus, and I listened to sound bowl, healing music and all that, just envisioning what I was envisioning as if it's already done. So, I just talked about the Chase credit card, right? Hi, Miss Coco Monroe. Happy Valentine's with an N. Valentine's Day to you as well. So anyway, I finally go to the post office box. I have a post office box because in this transition, I needed to get a post office box near my job until everything's situated and there's some stability with as far as housing, and then I can have my mail forwarded to the new residents, right? So for whatever reason, they was holding my mail at the other post office box near where I used to live, which is a long, drawn out story, but it is what it is. So they was holding my mail, and I pay bills online, so it really wasn't a big deal. But some items that come in the mail, right? Usually the state, the county, what have you, they don't do stuff online. It's hard copy paper. So go to the post office, and I finally have mail that was forwarded to me. And I've had this post office box, guys, since the end of November. And this is ridiculous. Even though Mr. was going to the post office box sporadically and collecting the mail, but that post office box is no longer valid. It is no longer in use because Mr.'s where he is. And so I'm like, okay, so where the hell is my mail? So obviously when his stuff started forwarding, my stuff started forwarding, which is so stupid and dumb. And this is one of the main reasons why I am so ready to leave Maryland. Get it right. But that's okay. So I go to the post office box today, and I see 2 letters that was forwarded to me. And I'm not familiar with what this is all about. I'm like, why am I getting mail from the car dealer in Illinois, right? And then why am I getting this from the car dealer in Alexandria, Virginia? Something ain't clicking. So I get to the car, I open up the first one that kind of looked like something I want. Hint, hint. I open it up. There is a refund check, not tax refund. I haven't even filed my taxes yet. A tax, title tag, whatever, refund check that was cut in the end of December was mailed in like the end of January, and I'm just getting it now. And it expires or it's invalid after 180 days. So I'm sitting there counting. How many days has it been? This check was for $510. Now, I called the number on the check, and I left a voicemail with the accounting department at this dealership, management or whatever, in Alexandria, Virginia, because I understand how things work when you're doing law of attraction or whatever. Sometimes things will just fall out of the sky. You're like, where the hell this come from? So I know this is what's going on, but I just want to just get that confirmation either through an email in writing or something. Because this check, like I said, was for $510 that was sitting in the freaking on hold somewhere, and I finally got it. Also, I knew that I was eligible for um, a refund for my tags or registration with the state of Maryland because I was told that verbally. But I was on the impression I would have to hunt it down and put in a request and all that. They wouldn't automatically send me money. The second letter, I opened that up. That check was a refund check for $67.50. So there was money that was owed to me, close to $600, floating around in the ethers or whatever. Finally came down. And I just found out today. So I'm thinking, okay, did that quantum leap exercises that I did with the water, because water has memory, right? That's an element that it retains memory. And this is one reason why we need to respect the elements. And water is one of them. You know, you disrespect the water, it's going to remind you not to do it again. So, yeah, I'm just, from the cashback, rewards, and everything with Chase, even though I'm spending money, living in a hotel is not cheap. But at the same time, if I was just using my debit card, I wouldn't get any points. No cashback, no nothing. So, I mean, you can't complain. Plus, this month, I'm getting all these discounts, like I said, with my buddy hooking me up with friends and family and all of this stuff. And this is because I opened my mouth and I told her that I was staying in a hotel temporarily. And she was like, what? And so she, got connections or whatever. But if I would have kept that to myself, I wouldn't have been able to benefit from what I'm benefiting now. So sometimes you kind of have to let people in so they know what's going on. Because if anybody knows me, I usually just keep my business. And I just figure out how to get through whatever I'm going through. And usually I can find solutions because I'm a researcher at heart. That's what I do. I'm good at it. But sometimes, instead of spending all that time researching something, you have your resources within your circle. You just need to open your mouth and just let them know something, and then they can help you out and save money, time, effort, everything. So anyway, that I wanted to share with you guys. So again, look up some YouTubers on YouTube that does quantum leaping exercises to show you how to do it. There's kind of slight differences in how to do it, but you definitely don't want to be distracted or anything like that. You want a quiet space. You want to be able to focus, because at the end of the day, all of these tactics and techniques really is all about your intentions, right? And how you feel. The object or whatever tool that's being used, that's just to help you focus. But you don't necessarily need that. But it is an option, okay? It's an option. So I suggest you guys look it up. Again, law of attraction, I've talked about that before. There's other tactics and ideas out there that if you want it done quicker, you need to deal with some entities and all that. And I prefer to just utilize my own power. That's just me. And yeah, it takes a little longer, but I feel more comfortable using my own inner strength. But if you want stuff done quickly, there are ways to get things done quickly. And again, you have to bargain or get in line or whatever with entities up there, and I prefer to do my own thing. That's just me. um, let's see. Also, the title of my video, North Carolina Cherokees, huh? I really don't know much about the Eastern Band Cherokee natives in North Carolina. I really don't know much about them. I mean, I've heard of friction going on between them and all the other tribes within that state, or tribes that's crossing state lines that believe and or have records of being connected to this tribe, and then them being rejected, and la la la. Yeah. Well, there is some information out there that I have stumbled across. Some of you might have already stumbled across this band of Cherokee and what they're up to. And let me just make sure I'm looking at this article correctly before I start talking. Because as you guys know, the Pamunkey tribe of Virginia is federally recognized. They are the first federally recognized tribe in Virginia, and thus far the only federally recognized tribe in Virginia. There are Cherokee in Virginia. I'm thinking of the Appalachian Cherokee. I can't think of the exact group's name, whatever. But they've been getting rejections and heat from these federally recognized tribes, in particular Cherokee, for generations, for the most part. And yeah, it's interesting how now the Cherokee of North Carolina, Eastern Band, want some of that pie in Virginia when it comes to casinos. Now, I'm trying to make sure I am reading this properly. Let's see. WCYB. This is a local news channel. Channel 5. Okay. Washington County, Virginia. The chief of the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians, Richard Sneed, announced Tuesday that his organization has reached an agreement to develop and operate a proposed casino in Washington County, Virginia, near the Pinnacle. Okay. They're in North Carolina, but they're crossing state lines because now Virginia is in the works of allowing the Pamunkey to have a casino. North Carolina does not allow their native population, tribal groups, what have you, state, federal, whatever, federal for the most part. They don't allow them to have a casino. The group already operates the Harrah's Cherokee Resort Hotel and Casino in Cherokee, North Carolina. Okay, well, never mind. Scratch that. I was wrong. Which includes more than 1,100 rooms. The proposed casino, which would be part of a 350-acre tract in Washington County, would be adjacent to the Pinnacle. So it's right across the state line. The casino would include an outdoor concert venue, recreational facilities, and a hotel featuring an indoor water park. Quote, I have visited the site along I-81 and I am impressed with its strategic gateway location that serves a 5-state area, Snead said. It is our wish to bring new tax revenue and jobs to Washington County and the Southwest Virginia region in a positive and impactful way. But there are Cherokee in the state of Virginia, which your group in North Carolina reject. But yet you're crossing the state line to build a casino there, which is not benefiting Cherokee people in the state of Virginia. The developer of the Pinnacle and the 350-acre tract in Virginia is Steve Johnson. Quote, our agreement with Chief Snead of the EBCI, Eastern Band Cherokee Indians, is an extraordinary opportunity to bring an experienced casino owner-operator to Washington County in the Southwest Virginia region, Johnson said. Quote, we look forward to working with the Cherokee Nation, local leaders, and elected officials in Richmond, Virginia, to bring this massive opportunity to fruition, end quote. The Bristol, Virginia City Manager, Randy Eds, had some strong remarks on the proposed casino. Quote, this announcement today could hurt all of Southwest Virginia, and that is something I do not want to happen, Ed said. Southwest Virginia must work together and not against one another in order for true economic development in our region, end quote. So on Facebook, a few people posted some articles about this proposal, and Cherokee people in Virginia were not happy about this. It's one thing to reject them in Virginia because they're in Virginia versus in North Carolina, and you know, you got your family units and all of this stuff. It's a club. But then you're going to cross over into another territory and create a casino that's not benefiting the Cherokee that are living in the state of Virginia. Because once again, they're still rejects, right? They're not real Cherokee. Interesting. Makes you wonder. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe the Eastern Band Cherokee in North Carolina has always been opposed to any other tribal community in the state of North Carolina as far as getting federal recognition, because it's dipping into their pie, and they don't want that. They don't want that. But yet then they're going to cross over state line to build a casino that's not benefiting Cherokee Virginians. Cherokee that are in Virginia. Again, the rejects. How does that work? Like, really, how does that work? Makes you wonder. It really does. What do you guys think? I'm kind of like speed reading through another article about this. As everyone here knows, last spring, the Virginia General Assembly passed, the governor signed legislation that approved casino gaming in certain localities across the Commonwealth of Virginia, which the legislation has to be approved again this year in Richmond. Randy East, Bristol, Virginia city manager, said during a press conference on January the 7th. Senate Bill, this is in quotes again, Senate Bill 1126 authorized the Joint Legislative Audit and Review Commission to study and report their findings to the General Assembly. Joint Legislative Audit and Review Commission, which is JLAR, studied each locality it was assigned in the legislation and the effect gaming would have on those localities. The study indicates each locality, and specifically Bristol, Virginia, that a resort casino would be viable in Bristol, provide over 1,000 direct jobs, and pump millions of dollars into Bristol's general fund. He adds, quote, with today's announcement, the fact that Mr. Johnson wants to come into the game at such a late stage could have a detrimental impact on the legislation, not only for Bristol, but for the entire Commonwealth of Virginia. As previously stated, the legislator has already agreed that the city of Bristol, Virginia will have the opportunity to have a resort casino within its boundaries. The development of another casino within 1 mile of the Bristol Mall has not been authorized by the General Assembly or studied by JLAR, end quote. Chief Snead said if the legislative changes come to fruition, the public will be informed as the process goes forward. Quote, I applaud Tribal Council's leadership on this for recognizing that we've got to engage. And then, as each hurdle is overcome, there will be resolutions brought to Council to get direction for the next step, end quote. Now, that article came from theonefeather.com. Theonefeather.com. Yeah. You know, I've over the years, honestly, I have no respect for many Cherokee. Not all, but many of them. Many of them have been placed on this pedestal and given this I don't know, a little power. They call it tribal policing. And many of them, they're the main ones telling folks they're not who they say they are. And then you have this group, Eastern Band of Cherokee, North Carolina, crossing the state line, a state that they claim Cherokee are illegitimate or they're not who they say they are. Crossing the state line into that state, right? And then they want to do business in the state of Virginia. But according to what I'm reading and I'm hearing, the Cherokee that you stick your nose up at, that live in the state of Virginia, they're not benefiting from that casino. They're not. Unless they are Cherokee that happen to get a job in that locality, they're not recognized, but they live there and they get a job there. Maybe. And I'm not sitting here and acting as if I know how things work with tribal uh, in-house disbursement when it comes to proceeds and profit with gaming, right? I'm not an expert in that area. I'm just not. But there are some tribes that they cut a check for their members, thousands of dollars a month. Like I think one tribe somewhere in California, we're cutting checks like $25,000 per tribal member per month. And they were a small tribe. So it was a lot of money to spread out. Keep them numbers low so your pockets stay fat. Just saying. If there's only 100 people in your tribe and y'all making millions of dollars over and over again, compared to a tribe that has tens of thousands of members. Just saying. But again, you're willing to cross over into a territory, into a jurisdiction in another state. How does that work? I mean, are you now going to offer citizenship, tribal citizenship into your group for people that live in Virginia that are Cherokee, so you can now build in Virginia? I don't know. I don't know how that works. But I'm sitting here thinking, like, how can this tribe that is based in North Carolina have the right to go into another state, which is Virginia, and there are no recognized Cherokee tribes in Virginia? They're there, but they're just not recognized by the local government. So how can you, Cherokees from North Carolina, how do you, federally recognized Cherokee from North Carolina, go to another state and claim land, 350 acres or whatever, to build a casino on? How does that work? Somebody please explain it to me. Somebody please explain it to me, because that to me just don't make sense. What do you guys think? The ones that are watching, what do you guys think? Do you have any clue how this works? It just does, to me, it just doesn't make sense, because it's a casino. It's not like they're opening up a bank that happen to be owned by Cherokee people, or, you know, some kind of business that's not gaming. You know what I mean? That, to me, I can understand, because you don't necessarily have to have a business in the state you're in. You can have a business across state lines. But when it comes to gaming, and this is a new thing for Virginia as far as casinos, because they've had lottery for a while, how does that work? Trying to do a quick search here. I'm trying to see how this works. It just, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, that just doesn't make sense to me. Because like I said, on Facebook, people were talking. People were talking. And again, I don't get involved with Cherokee this and Cherokee that. I don't claim Cherokee. It is what it is. But now that they're trying to claim I would say a business proposal uh, in another state, which is my home, Virginia, my state. And even though it's right across, pretty much right across the way from their existing casino in North Carolina, but it's right across the state line. And it's right there where 81, or Interstate 81, which is just like 95, 95, 85 is a major interstate, and they get a lot of truckers going through that region. And so obviously being placed there, it makes sense for them. Yeah, I have mixed feelings about that. And again, I would like someone to explain to me, that has experience in gaming, crossing state lines. And there aren't any federally recognized Cherokee communities in the state of Virginia. So, yeah. Um, yeah. That, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. But whatever. Whenever money's involved, it tends to alter people's decision making, cutting people out, family, relatives, what have you. It's a sad way to do business. It really is. And that's how the system is set up. That the system is set up that way. And I'm trying to think of something real quick. I'll be right back. Now, I don't have a problem with what I'm about to say right now, because this is what was done historically and it worked. Let me just make sure I got the right word. Let's see. What did they call that? I'm just going to make sure that I call it what it is and don't mispronounce it. Because obviously many of us don't participate in that kind of, okay. It's barter. B-A-R-T-E-R. B-A-R-T-E-R. Barter. Exchange goods or services for other goods or services without using money. Guys, let's get back to the basics. Bartering. B-A-R-T-E-R. This is how it was done before currency. Pieces of paper. Putting value on paper and exchanging it, right? Bartering was how people took whatever skills, talents, whatever they had, they can exchange it for something they needed. So let's say the Cherokee Eastern Band of North Carolina, let's say they had something over here in their camp that the next group of people in another territory need. And that group in Virginia, Cherokee, they had something, or a bushel or fields of something that the North Carolina Cherokee didn't have. They acknowledge each other. I see you, you see me. Let's exchange, let's trade. That's not foreign to this region. It's not. It's not. It's not foreign. Let's get back to that. I know gaming, casinos, what have you, I understand that's a lot of money involved in that. But if you want to get away from the grid, this system that's set up, and take it back, I believe that many tribal communities will be so much more strong, resilient, self-sufficient if they would get off of their islands and go back to the barter system. But not just with anybody. That's the issue too. That's the problem too, I think. You have to put your goods or services where your mouth is. Communities that respect you, people that respect your existence, they can participate. If this person is a healer or herbalist or something like that, they have a track record. Everybody that had issues ain't got issues anymore. This person has a gift. This other community over here, they don't have that, but they need it. So exchange the services of this herbalist with someone over here that is good with carpentry. They can build things, or scientists or something. And when I say scientists, I'm thinking alchemy. Look it up. And being able to exchange services and goods that way with people who respect you and acknowledge you. We need to acknowledge each other. That's the point I'm trying to make. Get away from, I feel more important when this government that had me oppressed or my people oppressed for generations, I feel more important when they acknowledge me. Nah, guys. True and authentic sovereignty is when you're not a domestic sovereign nation. When you don't have to answer to Big Brother or however way you want to identify the powers that be. Acknowledge each other. Exchange goods and services the way it was done traditionally. Bartering, that's B-A-R-T-E-R. Bartering, I-N-G. I add the ing at the end. Where I'm from, there was a trade system going on back in the day. And there were copper mines everywhere where I'm from. Copper. Now, everyone has their opinions or speculations about what happened to the lost colony. Roanoke. But there is a connection, I believe, between copper mining and the Roanoke Islands lost colony. Now, this website I'm on now is called Native Heritage Project. There could be some truth there, maybe not. But people that are really, really into genealogy and local state history and county history and all this stuff. They just gather all this information together based on the point they're trying to make. They find research or scholarly research to kind of back up what they're trying to say. So what I'm saying is, where I'm from, with the copper mines, that was part of the barter system as well, exchanging copper for services or goods. Let me read this real quick. According to, let me see. I'm going to read like 3 paragraphs, okay, to try to get the point. As I mentioned in the text of my 1997 article, Rediscovering Pennsylvania Missing Native Americans, in years past, I have talked to Halifax County, Virginia residents whose families have a long tradition of descent from local Native Americans and the very first English settlers. Now, Halifax County, Virginia is like South Boston and blah, blah, blah. And unfortunately, guys, there was a unfortunate death of 2 people. They were dating. They were from the Northern Virginia area. For whatever reason, they were down there in South Boston or Halifax County, Virginia, and they were an interracial couple. And apparently they were found dead earlier this week, which is crazy. That kind of stuff in that area is, in modern times, is rare. That's one county away from my home county back home. So when I read that, I was like, Halifax County? Are they talking about South Boston? Because South Boston is in Halifax County. Anyway, back to this. In note 9 of that article, I mentioned that Douglas L. writes in his book, The American Indian in North Carolina, John F. Blair, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, 1957, asserts that the last survivors of the lost colony took up residence near my hometown. The text below appears supportive of that conclusion. It is not clear whether it was one of Wright's sources. Again, we're talking about copper mining. And where I'm from, it's well-known copper mining, bartering, exchanging goods and services and stuff like that. According to this account for William Strachey, the surviving Roanoke colonists would have escaped the places called Ritano, Okanahoan, and Pekarekamec near today's where I'm from. I think the Okanahoan is probably Okanichi. Maybe they, the way they spelt this, the way they thought it sound, but that probably is Okanichi. And I am Okanichi Saponi from Virginia, by the way. Where they lived under the protection of and worked in the copper mines of the Weroanchi chief Ayanoko. And then this is in quotes. At Pekarekamec and Okanahoan, by the relation of Machumps, the people have houses built with stone walls and one story above another, as taught by them, so taught them by those English who escaped the slaughter of Roanoke. At what time this our colony, under the conduct of Captain Newport, landed within the Chesapeake Bay, where the people bred up tame turkeys about their houses and take apes in the mountains. Okay, let me stop there. Apes in the mountains? Or apps in the mountains? That doesn't make sense to me. And we're at Ritano, the Weroanchi Ayanoko preserved 7 of the English alive, 4 men, 2 boys, and 1 young maid, who escaped and fled up the river of Chinook. which might have been Roanoke, but they said Chinook, to beat his copper, of which he have certain mines at the said Ritano, as also at Pomawak, are said to be store of salt stones. So the notes come from an Indian subsequently mentioned. Okay, note number 2 says, was this Virginia Dare the firstborn Anglo-American? She or Harvey are the only two on the list of that colony as White left it. John left it, who could have been spoken of as maids in 1607. There were boys, but no other girls among them. So those were the 2 notes at the bottom of this. So the author, her name is Roberta Estes, scientist, author, genealogist, documenting Native heritage through contemporaneous records and DNA. I'm sure I chopped it all the way up. But that's who that lady is. Her name is Roberta Estes. I guess this is her research that she came across. And yeah. So if you look at a map of Virginia and North Carolina, you see this big body of water on the border, right in the center, south central area or north central area. When you're looking at the map, when you put those 2 states together, there is a large body of water there, and then it kind of slithers down, gets really thin in North Carolina, and then it kind of spills over kind of where Little Washington is and Hyde County, and then it kind of spills over into the Sound, which is Pamlico Sound, which actually it should be pronounced Pampico, not Panlico, but Pampico Sound. And then that's the Outer Banks, and then obviously the ocean. So from what I'm hearing, from what I'm researching in bits and pieces of information, it could be possible, right, that Roanoke River allowed people to trade back and forth from my hometown through North Carolina. And again, copper mining was one of the minerals that were very plentiful in the area I'm from, and probably still is. A lot of the copper mines back in the day, now if you come up on one, the ground kind of sinks really, really low. And I just remember seeing them all over the place when I was coming up, and never really thought nothing of it. I was like, okay, I guess the land is, like that. And now growing up as a grown woman and learning about what old copper mines look like now that hasn't been touched in centuries, the land, the surface of the land is like this dip. So if you walk and don't pay attention, you'll fall over in this big, almost like a ditch, So yeah, that's all I have to say about that. But again, identifying each other without the system, local, federal government involved, doing business with each other, like-minded folks. If you happen to be Indigenous American, great. Wonderful. Let's do business together. Nothing wrong with that. Keep the money in the communities that respect you. So let's say tribal communities within, let's say, Virginia and North Carolina. Let's say they decide that they want to do business with other communities, tribal communities, right? Keep it native, right? It's doable, guys. You recognize them, they recognize you. The way this matrix is set up is to keep people, keep groups splintered, right? There's one big community, but then it's splintered. Bands here, clans there, right? The system that's set up now is have one or two people getting gifts from the master's table and unleash them on everybody else. Because you ain't gonna mess up what they got going on. Master's been good to them. So you ain't gonna just come up in here and mess up what they got. So you can't come in. I don't care. You can't come in because you're gonna mess up what I got going on. You have people like that. And it's unfortunate. And if you can kind of like step away from that, acknowledge people for who they are, do business with them, barter, exchange goods and services. What's wrong with that? Oh, there'll be less power for those at the top. So they want to keep people infighting, right? Keep people at each other's throats over stupid stuff. Stupid. Dumb. You have billions of people in this world. And there might be 100 people within your clique. Do you know how powerful you and your clique could be if you got off your island? Wow. Again, do you know how powerful you and your 100 people within your clique, how powerful you would be if you got off of your island and connected with people? There's nothing wrong with preserving culture. Nothing. I admire that. Belief systems, traditions, all that. That's cool. Celebrate diversity. I love that. I love diversity. Love it. But then there's a time where you need to get off your island because there's strength in numbers. There's strength in numbers. Again, there's strength in numbers. Your 100 people over here doing your thing, nose stuck up in the air, because you think you are the best thing since sliced bread, right? Because the system created this facade, right, to keep everybody else at bay. So you get crumbs, right? You get crumbs. You get crumbs. But if you did business, #boss, and you do business with other bosses, you acknowledge other bosses. If they strip you of your recognition, and I've said it before, I'll say it again, buy back that land. You got all this money, you need to be buying back your land. And when it comes to local government, the more people like you, the more people they're a reflection of who you are and your ideologies or whatever, and your upbringing, your traditions, and your culture. Who gives a damn what they think? Because they're not in power. Do you understand what I'm saying? I hope you guys do. I hope I'm making sense to somebody out there. And maybe, just maybe, they playing the game, those in positions of federal recognition or whatever, and they do the gaming and making a ton of money. Maybe they're playing the game, and maybe they're going to flip it on them. Maybe. Maybe they're going to flip it on them and buy back all this land. Because I'm thinking of a show that I've been watching, and I think I've mentioned this before. What was it called? It wasn't Yellowstone. Or was it? Was it Yellowstone? Hold on, let me make sure I'm... Yes, Yellowstone. That's what I'm thinking about. Yellowstone is really good. It's on the Paramount network. And I haven't watched... If it's back on, I haven't been watching it. But Yellowstone on the Paramount network is what I'm thinking about right now. You have federal recognized tribes, gaming, casinos. I mean, tons of money, right? Playing the oppressor's game, you know, cutting corners. You know, not being as noble as you would hope people would be, because sometimes money will alter people's choices and decisions. But there's a part in this where this chief gets in the whole political field, or the political spotlight. And long story short, he got so much money, his tribe has so much money coming in left and right, that now he's starting to buy back land. Ooh. Now, even though they're federally recognized, I don't know what they could do to mess that up. But I feel like this. If you got a truckload or truckloads of resources and wealth for you and your tribe, and you decide to do something that the feds don't like, and not that you're doing something illegal that would require jail time, but you're not following the rules of keeping your federal recognition status. The only thing I could think of would be back taxes that you owe the government, which you really don't, but whatever. But I'm saying, if you have all of this money, you could easily do business with other tribal communities and uplift other tribal communities, and everybody's just bossing. Hashtag bossing up. Where you do not feel the need to accept crumbs anymore. And all these tribal police will go away, because it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Bye-bye. Doesn't matter. What you say doesn't matter, because guess what? We're making big moves. You stay over there on your island collecting crumbs. We're going to be over here. Peace. You might be invited if you wake up, but if you still blind and tap dancing over here, you stay over there. You want to support your folks, right? You want to support your community. But sometimes you need to be around like-minded people. You do. You just need to be around like-minded people that get the job done and keep it moving. Because you've heard the crabs in the barrel phrase before, probably. For people that are not aware of that, that is when you have people who are pretty much from the same bucket, same community, and you have one crab trying to get out of the bucket, right? They trying to reach their highest potential, right? But you have the rest of the crabs at the bottom reaching for him or her, and it's like these keep pulling that crab down, right? That's what they mean by crab in a barrel. So you have a handful of people, like an Oprah or somebody like that on that status, making billions of dollars. Like there's no room for other people within that community to be able to be just as influential, if not more influential. It's like not enough space. No, there is more out there for everybody to succeed. Everybody. Everybody. There's so much wealth out there, guys. It's mind-boggling. There's more than enough. More than enough. And like I said, as long as people stay... Hi, Chris. Thanks for chiming in. As long as people stay, again, that island mindset, me and mine, we good, you ain't qualified, you're not welcome. Well, if enough of that happens, people are going to be welcome somewhere else. And they're going to thrive somewhere else. So, I mean, it is what it is. What is on your mind, guys? Auntie Pooh, I don't know if you're still on. I might have bored you. Miss Coco, not sure you're still watching. Chris. But, what do you guys want to talk about? I mean, I kind of been rambling. I really haven't did too much chit-chatting with you guys. Not many people in the chat box, but is there anything else you want to talk about? Anything on your mind? Auntie Pooh, if you're still on. Okay, my sister and I have this person who is dating a relative that has these group text messages. And today, we got a text message from her. This is a group text message of ingrown toenails. And my sister, she texts me like, she is crazy. Like, for real. Why are you going to do a group text message on ingrown toenails? Who does that? You are not getting brownie points with the family texting people this. And this is a group text, again, a group text message. A group text message. Who does that? Something ain't right upstairs. I don't know. Anyway, we kind of laughed about that. Because I'm like, you're not getting brownie points posting toenail clippings and all this stuff. I don't think she's still on because she would have commented. But what's on your mind, Chris? What would you like to talk about? And whoever else is watching. Anything? Anything on your mind? Anything? It's a hard question. I'm sure a lot is on our minds. Not just you, not just me. It's so much going on. We'll be here for days talking. We'll be here for days. But again, back to the title of my video, let's keep counting our blessings. because it's really easy to get sidetracked and get um, absorbed in our own obstacle courses in this life, and that does lower our frequency, right? So to keep that frequency up, we need to count every single thing. Like today, I mentioned earlier in this video, I said, oh, I just thought about something. I did a complete Beyonce at the gas station this morning. And when I say that, let me explain. I was pumping gas. I decided to go into the car while the gas was pumping to dump trash because I have this little plastic bag that I collect trash, and then occasionally I'll take the trash out of the plastic bag, I'll reuse it, put it back in the car. So I did this, but I had to like hop over like this gas pump line, right? So I was stepping over it, but I had to high step. Anyway, long story short, I bust my butt at the gas station this morning, y'all. I did a complete Beyonce. I got right back up, got in the car, put the bag back in it. Thing's still pumping. Thankfully, it didn't come out of the car and gas was everywhere. That would have been horrible. But it was still pumping, so I got up. I didn't even look around, see if anybody was looking. I didn't do that. I got my hand sanitizer. I did that. Put the bag back in the car, and then the pump was done. I, put the gas pump handle back on the handle holder thing. Got in the car, rubbed my knee, and went on by my business. And I was like, oh, I really, really hope I didn't bust my knee, because I am an older person now. And I'm like, oh, I hope I didn't like really mess up my knee. So when I got to work, I was rubbing my knee or whatever like that. And then I eventually looked at my knee and didn't break skin. Well, the dry part of my skin, but it didn't, there was no blood. There was no bruising, thankfully, and the reason why is because I had this ice patch in my little lunch bag. So I took that out. I put the ice pack on my knee for about 30 minutes, and it was a little tender, but when I hit that curb on that gas pump, I didn't fall, but I caught myself, but I did hit my knee. Yeah, I did a complete Beyonce because she has failed a couple of times on stage while performing when she's torn, and she get right back up and keep it moving. I did a complete Beyonce. And then I end the day where I get a surprise in the mail with a couple of checks, refunds for me that had nothing to do with tax refund, because I haven't filed my taxes yet. I say all of this because, again, count your blessings, because my knee, I could have busted my knee, cracked my knee, needed knee surgery and all that. Now, if this happened in another 10 years, it might be a different story. But my bones are resilient, okay? That could have been a horrible experience. Again, if the gas handle came out of the car and gas is everywhere. That would have been a horrible experience. Like today, I was able to get off of work 2 hours early, which was sweet. Because yesterday there was a company meeting. I get off at 4. Everybody else got off at 4 because the meeting was over at 4. So today I was able to get out of work an hour early and another hour early because we were so caught up with work. It was Friday, beautiful, sunshine, and so the boss was like, okay, I'm letting you leave 2 hours early. So that was sweet. So the point is, my day started out challenging, all right, busting my knee or hurting it for a moment. But then it ended with the sun shining. I mean, just, it was a great day. And again, you count your blessings and don't get so caught up in, if I was just sitting there worried about the knee all day, that in of itself could have created something else that I didn't want. So I'm like, I'm thankful that I can still bend my knee, ain't nothing cracked, no bruising. I'm thinking maybe being that my knees are a little swollen anyway from eating. Maybe that was more cushion for my knee, so I wouldn't, knee replacement or whatever. So yeah. Chris says a lot, but I am not sure if it fits your channel and live stream. Wink. Yeah. Well, thanks for respecting my channel. um, I do have people that come on this chat box and they say some crazy stuff that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. So thank you for respecting this platform. And it's not a perfect platform and or whatever, but the goal is to highlight things that pertain to my communities, plural, because I kind of fit in more than one community, and also uplifting, you know. I just get more out of sharing what I know, being a light, not the light, but a light for some people who may not always see things the way I see it. So I like to share different perspective, and I'm hoping that it's beneficial and it's helpful for some people. I really don't talk too much about entertainment, um, uh, that type of thing, because there's so many YouTubers out there that's already talking about who said what and what she was wearing and all that. So I really don't feel a need to have this platform talking about things that a million other YouTubers are talking about. Occasionally I may say something about something that I've been observing, you know, like the Snoop Dogg and the Gayle, if you're familiar with them too, the back and forth that's linked to Kobe, and you know, I think I've mentioned something about Kobe in the last video. Hi, Native, Mr. V. Happy Valentine's Day to you as well. Yes, happy Valentine's Day, guys. The day that is reserved for love, right? Um, of course, some people get it twisted when it comes to love. They feel like you have to give something. Um, I'm just saying, just love on people regardless what day it is. Like today, I went to the store, and it's funny because this is the first time I've been in the store in a couple of weeks, and they really market whatever holiday it is, right? So I go in the store, and bam, Valentine's Day, everything red and pink, red and pink. And I see guys like desperately trying to get plants, well, flowers, roses and stuff, and going to the card aisle, and the candy and all this stuff. And in my opinion, that's reserved for people who either are trying to get in the draws, right? Number one. Number two, they done did something, got on their woman's nerves, so they're trying to pay back and do that. Or number three, they are the type of people that believe when they give gifts, that shows their love. In my opinion, I'm not much of a Valentine's spoil me with chocolate and candy type woman. I'm just not. Show me that you love me on a daily basis. And the way you love me is respect, admiration, being stable, and just taking care of business, you know what I mean? Not just finances, just whatever. It's kind of hard to explain. And the reason why I say that is because my definition of love is not necessarily the definition of love mainstream, right? Mine is respect, stability, um, talk to me, um, talk to me in a way that you're thankful that I am even in your aura. Okay. Don't talk to me like how should I put this? Talk to me in a way that you are thankful that I am in your space. Treat me in a way that you are thankful that I'm in your world. That's love. Don't expect for me to take care of you financially. Mm-mm. I'm all for paying your share fare or whatever, but don't expect for me to bail you out of financial difficulties. I'm not doing it. That ain't love. That's manipulation, and that is um, seeing how much you can get out of somebody before you move on to somebody else. Yeah, that type of stuff. No. So anyway, that's just me. But yeah, happy Valentine's Day for everyone out there. This is a day reserved for love, but just know what love is. It's not all candy, flowers, and cards. It's not even all sex, because a lot of these guys doing it for sex. Some of these guys break up with girls or females, women or whatever, right before they got to show how much they love them, like on Valentine's Day. I'm like, I'm out of here. Bye. I got my cake. I ate it. Got the cow and the milk. So I don't have to show my love for you because I done got everything I wanted. So pigs. You have those types. Um, but I said just know what's love to you. What is your definition of love? And I just told you guys mine. Um, Captain Parrish. Is there anything you would like to talk about? Anything on your mind? Anything? Whoever else is watching? There's many videos out there floating around about signs, symbols, decoding, or whatever when it comes to celebrities and what they're doing and what this represents. And I wouldn't say I'm fully on board with what a lot of people are saying, conspiracy theorists and people who decode every little thing. But some of this stuff is making sense. Drake, Rihanna, Chris Brown, wearing white, wearing colorful hair and clothing, almost like a rainbow. That's what Chris Brown was wearing the other day. And some people, they break it all the way down, what this mean and what that mean, and why they're doing this. And Gail, Oprah, Snoop Dogg, and the battle between masculine and feminine energy, right? I can't really speak on all of that. I'm just learning, but it's interesting. It really is. We have to dig deep. What we see on TV is very surfacey, right? A lot of this stuff is strategic as far as a distraction from what really needs to be what really needs to be analyzed. Yeah, I think that's what I want to say. So a lot of times when we're watching TV, we're just seeing surfacey stuff. We're not seeing what's really going on. As some people say, Holly weird. Things that they're doing, rituals, and I wouldn't necessarily say I am against rituals. It just depends on your intentions and what in the world you're trying to do. Are you trying to uplift the people? Or are you trying to just uplift yourself by any means necessary? And so, that's where it gets tricky. Like I was thinking about the Haitian people and how they utilize their spiritual practice to liberate themselves from European stronghold. And that's very impressive. And they did rituals and things of that nature to help them break down the oppressed atmosphere they were in as far as slavery. And so this is where it gets really sticky, guys. It gets really sticky. Because when you look at a particular belief system and you're like, oh, how bad is that? And evil and dark, and how could they do that? And they're gonna burn in hell. I'm like, based on what I learned in the book that was introduced to me a long time ago, there's a time and place for everything. There's a time and place for everything. And there's a time to kill. Let's not forget that. Back up, go to the Old Testament. There's a time to kill. When a group of people that was ordered by their God in the Old Testament to kill another group of people. And if they didn't do it, they got backlash for it. It's written in that book that you carry around. But then when another group does something like that to liberate themselves, then that's bad. Again, it's a very sticky topic. I'm not going to stay on that topic for too long unless you guys want to keep going with that. But again, as long as the ritual, I don't have issues with it. I mean, some rituals it's not for me, obviously. I don't know about that for me. If it's for the next person, it's going to help liberate them and their people, then so be it. But then when you compare it to what I was introduced to in the Old Testament, I mean, there's big chunks of the Old Testament, guys, that I cringed when I read that. And I was like, well, I thought God loved everybody. And I thought, God wanted us all to, live in harmony, whatever. Nope. That God in that Bible ordered killings, famine, diseases, murder, killings, whatever you want to call it. Almost human sacrifice, but then it flipped it and did a sacrifice with an animal in exchange for a human. Yeshua being put on the cross as a human sacrifice. A lot of ritualistic things in that Bible. A lot of rituals. A lot of things that I really want to decode. There's a lot of things I want to decode. Anyway, so Chris says, I totally agree with you with your definition of love. For me, it's also important to be loyal, but how can someone show stability, or is the only something you can feel? How can they show stability? Spiritually, mentally, and physically is, as a woman, I want to feel secure. So where am I going to live? That's stability. The average woman, if she ain't so Miss Independent, I can do things all by myself, I don't need a man. If she's not like that, she's going to want a man who has a space for her that's stable. That's what I mean by stability. Also, mentally, you need to be stable. You need to have a sound mind. And not everyone is gifted with that. It takes a lot of work. And spiritually, I'm not saying one over another. I'm not saying this walk versus this walk, but I believe that there just needs to be stability in that belief system as well. I mean, again, like I said in the scripture I was brought up, or I was introduced to, there's a time for everything. There's a time to break things down, and there's a time to build things up. And when I say stable spiritually, is that regardless of what's needed at the time, you need to kind of be consistent. Like, okay, we're going to break this down. Okay, now it's time to build this up. Staying with the flow of that. I hope that made some sense to you. When Singerful says, hi there, finally caught you live. Hi, Windsorful. No, When Singerful. Thanks for chiming in. I'm glad you caught me live. Chris Connor says, just checking in. What's the North Carolina Cherokee part of the title about? After this video, you can go back and watch this video. And that probably was, let me see, about an hour into the video. That's when I started talking about it. So you can go back and check out the details of what I was saying. But in so many words, what I was saying real quick is that how can the Eastern Band of North Carolina, or Eastern Cherokee Band of North Carolina, cross over into the state of Virginia to build a casino? Because they already have one in North Carolina. But it's like the way the land mass is right over the border of North Carolina, Virginia border, right? And so right across the border, which is close to where their existing casino is located, it's 350 acres of land they want to build this casino in the state of Virginia. So that's what I was talking about. How does that work? As far as federally recognized tribes, I don't understand. I mean, obviously you can do business across state lines, but when it comes to tribes and gaming and all of that, how does that all work? That's pretty much what I was trying to figure out. Let's see. Sodom and the whole lead up to destruction, and how the daughters were tossed out to be abused like no biggie. Okay, that's what Win Singerful said. Can you kind of clarify that comment, please? I'm trying to understand what you were saying. Native Mister says, I myself am Cherokee, or a strong Cherokee background. I got here late, also like Chris. Okay, so that's pretty much what it is. I've mentioned this before, and I'll mention it again. I don't mean any disrespect, but when it comes to Cherokee in general, not all, but I feel like there's a large number of Cherokee that are federally recognized are apparently tribal police, and they've given a lot of other Cherokee people, and not just Cherokee, but other Native indigenous people, groups, communities, a hard time when they're trying to get federally recognized. And I don't have much respect for a lot of them. Not saying you guys are like that, but I just feel like there's something about as a whole, a large portion of the federally recognized Cherokee people are like tribal police. And how in the hell can you be in a state and build a casino in another state, a state that there are Cherokee there? They're just not federally recognized. And as tribal police, for years, for generations, you've been uh, blocking any attempts for these Cherokee in Virginia to get any recognition. I have a problem with that, because just because someone says they're Indigenous American or they're part of this community or that community, and there's no piece of paper or blood or whatever, or the hair's too kinky or their skin is too light or too dark or whatever, I don't have respect for individuals that have that mentality. And again, I don't think you guys have that mentality because you're on my page. You've probably been watching a lot of my videos from way back. So I doubt if you guys think that way. But yeah, that's kind of where I am right now with the Eastern Band Cherokee people. That's where I am. Correct me if I'm wrong, because again, I'm outside looking in. I'm not in that community. I don't claim Cherokee, and it is what it is. So I don't know. Okay, Native Mister says okay, and then Native Mister says I live in North Carolina as also. Okay. Eventually, I will be in that state for a minute, meaning relocating. It will not be in that region of North Carolina, but eventually I will be in that state. So, FYI, I will be a North Carolinian. And one thing about North Carolina, I've always felt a connection to the state because my people are from there as well, like my dad's side. My home church is in North Carolina. My dad's mom, her line goes all the way back, I don't know, 5 or 6 generations, because that side of the family, they kept better records of their people. So I was able to get genealogy research that was already researched for me on my paternal grandmother's side of the family in North Carolina, Vance County, that area of North Carolina. I think back to like almost the early 1800s, which is really good actually. So, and then my mom lived in Charlotte. She lived in Durham. She lived in Oxford. She lived in Henderson. My sisters lived in Durham and lived in Oxford and Henderson. So I have family all up and through the state of North Carolina. So I spent a lot of time there growing up, weekends, holidays, summer vacations, because my mom lived in North Carolina. So even though on paper I've always been in Virginia, but I spent a ton of time in North Carolina. So I consider that home as well. Native says, correct. My people have done a lot of stuff I don't agree with. We also have slaves and fought on the rebel side. Yeah. I'm aware of the Confederacy, Cherokee folks, and I don't know about many, but I've seen a handful of people who claim Cherokee wearing the rebel flag, proudly wearing it. So, yeah, I hear you. And it is unfortunate and it is sad that you have people within your group, not just the Cherokee, but just in general, you have people in your group that does not represent the entire the entire thought process of your group. And I really don't want to stereotype people because I come from groups of people that are stereotyped, But just think about it. If you have one knucklehead doing something ratchet, and let's just say somebody black, okay? He's doing something stupid and ratchet, right? Unfortunately, you have people who kind of put everybody that look like that in a box, and it's not right. So I don't want to come across as saying all Cherokee this and all Cherokee that, but you do have those that um, give their people a not so great what's the word? um, reflection of them. Let's just put it that way. I have this one uh, young lady. I consider her like a sister. She is Lumbee, and she is an amazing representative of her people because the stereotype and the norm of her people is X, Y, and Z, and she is a complete opposite of that. So even though I wouldn't necessarily be excited to go to, let's say, a Lumbee homecoming or a powwow, whatever like that, because there's a very strong fundamental Christian mindset in that area where they live. Um, there's also a conservative Fox News kind of thing going on with a lot of their people in that region. And there is colorism and all of that going on in that region of North Carolina. But I've met Lumbee that don't live there anymore, including this young lady. And she is an incredible representative of her people. And I tell her that not all the time, but she knows. She's an activist. She speaks. She does public speaking. I met her in Maryland, also DC. I've been in sweats with her, or at least no, one sweat. I was in one sweat with her. And when we sweat, we also shared pipes as well towards the end. Like we shared pipes. And I don't smoke, and I'm such a germaphobe as well, but for whatever reason, I felt okay doing that. It was a space and an energy there that was very protective, so I felt fine. But we shared a pipe together, and again, we sweat together. And she is an incredible, brilliant young lady who represents her people well. And again, she's Lumbee, so I can't say the whole group is like that, but she does an incredible job. Let's see what else we got here. When Singful says Old Testament story when Lot and his family went to Sodom and the town was described as full of lust and homosexuality, and the man demanded Lot's host to turn him and his sons over to them. Yeah. Yeah, that's in there. Native Mister says the Civil War, I would have opposed all that. We also helped the white man to defeating our Native American Tuscarora and other tribes. I'm learning now about the Tuscarora. And the reason why I'm learning about the Tuscarora is because I am close to one that is linked to the Tuscarora people. And this part of layers of infighting going on in the state of North Carolina, I'm just learning this stuff. And I'm just confused. But there is a lot of infighting going on with Tuscarora folks and other tribes. Wincingful says, the host was like, take my daughter and do whatever you want, just leave my guest alone. That always irked me. Like, what the F? Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, guys. It was buffering and I had to, like, reconnect and everything. Can you see me now? Hopefully you can type something. You might have to refresh your video, maybe. Yay, nay, type something. Thirsty. Okay. All right, so Winsingful says, but the conversation has moved on to other things by now. Okay. Native Mister says, oh yes, I know of the Lumbee people, bad stereotype. I had a Lumbee roommate. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It really is. But I'm thankful. Again, count your blessings. I'm thankful that I had the privilege of meeting some outstanding people from their community. That the stereotypical ones that you've encountered is not how everybody within that community thinks, acts, believes, whatever. So I'm thankful that I was able to meet such a brilliant individual. She has a bright future ahead of her. I mean, bright. And, by the way, she is also black. Now, if you just look at her, you wouldn't see black. If you're looking for phenotypes and hair and all that, she does not look like a black woman, okay? But she makes it her purpose to identify herself publicly. Unlike the other people, she represents not only Lumbee people, but she also represents the African American community. And her father has a Muslim background. So then you have the whole Christianity thing and the Muslim thing and black and all this stuff. And everything just came together and made this beautiful ball of excellence, you know? So that's one thing that unfortunately many people feel like they have to suppress is whatever genetic links they have to other people other than their indigenous American community. Many people have been brainwashed or taught or whatever that they have to suppress that over there, especially if it's black. Suppress all of that because that's going to mess us up from getting recognized or whatever by an oppressed matrix. Okay? She doesn't do that. She doesn't do that. And she is enrolled and all that. For people that might think that she's not enrolled. Yeah, she's enrolled. Yeah. And I think she was living in North Carolina this year. I think she went back home. But I think she is going to relocate back in the DC area and be just as powerful and influential as she's been thus far. We shall see. You probably will see her on TV and stuff because she has been on TV. And to protect her privacy, whatever. I'm not going to really talk too much about, who she is or whatever. But she's woke, guys. Hashtag woke. She's a proud indigenous American Lumbee woman. She's a proud African American woman. And she holds her head up high. And she writes articles. And she has her own website. And like I said, she's an activist. And yeah, we need more people like her. She is a force to reckon with. And even though she does get down sometimes, I always tell her, like, girl, you keep doing your thing, It's unfortunate that you, Native Mister, encountered a stereotype. But again, let's just remember, not everybody is like a stereotype. Some people, they help with the stereotypes, right? They definitely help with stereotypes, but not everyone is like that. Anything else, guys, you guys want to talk about? This been going on for a minute. I'll be getting up about, I mentioned earlier in this video, but I'll be getting up about 5:45 in the morning. And I'm going to be heading down south for the weekend. Monday is a holiday, President's Day, so I decided to take a trip down and spend the weekend down where I am preparing to relocate. Yes, Native Mister, she is a voice to reckon with. Let's just put it that way. She's definitely a voice to reckon with. Young lady, right? And a lot of people who are older, they tend to not want to listen to someone younger than them or much younger than them because they feel like, oh, you haven't lived, you know. What do you know? You were just born yesterday, you know. But you can't ignore truth and wisdom coming from someone who is much younger than you, because a lot of people who are, you know, in another generation or two behind you, for whatever reason, they have like access to knowledge so much quicker than, let's say, you did. Obviously there's the internet, obviously there's a spiritual explosion going on, you know, yada yada yada. Thank you, Win Singerful. She says, enjoy your trip. I shall. I mean, it's not going to be all just hanging out. I'm going to have to take care of a few things, get things kind of organized, unbox a few more boxes, you know, that type of stuff. But yeah. Mr. says, Native Mr. says, safe trip to be safe. Oh, safe trip, be safe. Some souls have real wisdom. I always listen to older people growing up. I love hearing the old stories. Yes. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I am definitely an old soul. I gravitate to older people. And not just because they're older, but because they have knowledge that I am seeking. And I also gravitate to those who are younger than me who have old souls as well. It's like they're so much more advanced on an intellectual level that I can communicate with them. And we're not talking about stuff that really doesn't matter, like what shoes this celebrity was wearing at this award show. Who cares? Like, is that going to uplift me and pay my bills? No, it's not. I don't care what they're wearing. So you have people who are similar like me that are younger than me. They're so much more advanced, and they just have this old energy about them. And when I say old, I mean wise, you know, wisdom. That's what I gravitate towards. Winsingful says, sometimes young people have a fresh way of looking at things that older folks miss. Exactly. Different perspective. And I interact with much older people than me. Part of them have this younger energy about them. And that's probably why I kind of gravitate to them too, because I don't see them as someone who is in a rocking chair all day waving at cars pass by and chewing tobacco. Old, you know. They have youthfulness in them as well. But then sometimes I have to remember they have wisdom, not just the youthfulness, right? But they have wisdom. They've been around for a minute. So let me pump my brakes and listen. And then after I listen, then I come back with a different perspective. And sometimes, I would say most of the time, once I come back with a different perspective and then it registers, it may take a few minutes for that person who is much older than me to understand where I'm coming from. But then they realize, oh, this is another perspective or another idea that kind of makes sense. I didn't notice that, you know. It has to be an open back and forth way of communicating, you know. Not every person who's been here for X amount of years know so much more than the next person, and they don't need to listen to them because, oh, they haven't lived yet. No, that person who is very young may have something embedded in them via DNA or a past life or whatever, something that you can learn from because they've been there before. Especially if they're old soul, they've already been there, and some things they retain. If you believe in that, when you come back, you retain some things, so you don't have to go a lifetime learning something. It's like you already know, it's embedded in you, and then you just piggyback on what you've learned in another life, and then you again an old soul. That may or may not register for some people, but you know, some people believe that. Hi, sweet. I was actually thinking about you earlier in this video because where I'm staying, this is the Courtyard Marriott, right? They have DirecTV here, and you can actually look at YouTube videos on the TV, and I thought about you. So I'm glad that you're chiming in. Sweet says, hello, how's the weather's there? Are you asking about the weather where I'm going this weekend? If that is the question, it's going to be in the lower 50s this weekend. Tomorrow it's going to be partly sunny. Oh, never mind. You said no. You mean where I am now? I'm a little lost. Oh, where I am now? Okay. The weather is getting really cold. It was a beautiful day. Barely any clouds in the sky. There is a slight breeze. And so tonight it's going to get down to like 27 degrees. Earlier it was 40, I think, 40 degrees. Yeah, all week it was raining. All week. Cloudy and rain. And so today we got a break. And like I said, tomorrow morning when I get up and have to move stuff out of this room because I'm checking out, it's going to be 27 freaking degrees in the mountain. But where I'm going, it's going to be in the 50s. So, Sweet says, hey, Auntie Pooh, your daughter can sing. That's our niece, the one that you said can sing. Let's see. Yes, when singerful. Burr. This area, which is in the DC area, guys, the DC metropolitan area, this weather has been, you just can't put your finger on it. You just can't. It's just, 1 minute it's 70 degrees outside, the next minute it's 20 degrees outside. You know, 1 minute it's beautiful, the next minute you got rain for 4 days. Downpour rain. Last week there was crazy weather, like this long weather pattern was like all the way down in New Orleans, all the way up to the mid-Atlantic region, and this line just went across like this. And you probably saw it on TV, like there were tornadoes touching down. There were, I think, two or three tornadoes that touched down in Virginia. I mean, it was crazy. And this was the beginning of February, right? And it's still winter. And you would expect something like that in late spring, you know? Not so much, and not such a huge area of just storms going through. Very windy, you know, all of that. The weather is weird. It's a weird winter. At this point, guys, if you haven't already heard, this is a lot of man-made weather going on. I don't think this is just nature. This is some man-made stuff. They had an earthquake in Virginia last week, I think. That probably was due to fracking. I doubt if that was just a regular earthquake, because Virginia is not a place where you're going to find some earthquakes. And if there is a tremble, you don't notice it. Yeah. Some people said global warming. Some people said climate change. At the end of the day, it was freaking 65 degrees in Antarctica a few days ago. Again, 65 degrees in Antarctica. That's a problem. That is a problem. Sea levels are increasing. If you think about, Atlantis and all these other stories about cities that are now under the water, obviously the water was not there when the cities were there. So the sea levels have been increasing forever, but it just seemed like it has increased rapidly the past decade or so. So yeah, it is what it is. Even though I love the big water, when I say big water, I mean the Atlantic Ocean. I want to be near it. I just want to be near water. But the trade-off is flooding. Flooding. That's the trade-off. And, many people who are coastal people, they refuse to leave. And so many people, unfortunately, lose property and or their lives because that's where they're from, that's home, they don't want to leave. But eventually, many of the coastal properties are going to pretty much be underwater. I've mentioned this before. I learned about Hotel de Afrique, which was now is underwater, but it was near Hatteras Village in the Outer Banks. And once upon a time, obviously, that part of the landmass was not underwater. This was in the 1860s, like right before slavery was abolished. This was the first refuge for runaway slaves in the state of North Carolina. I repeat, this was the first refuge for runaway slaves in North Carolina. And this was called Hotel de Afrique, and it was near Hatteras Village in the Outer Banks. FYI. Now it's underwater. That should tell you something. Native Mister says, I heard 70 degrees. Okay, well, maybe it was 70 degrees. Maybe when I was watching the news, it was 65 and then it increased to 70. But either way, that is spring-like weather in Antarctica, a place that is solid, frozen solid, Sea levels are rising, guys. And even though I respect the big water in general, that comes with the territory. When you're on a coastal area or near water, flooding is part of it. Wincing Full says, I'm a hill woman. I lived on a hill, but near a lake. So whenever we had hard rain or whatever, we never had any issues with flooding because we would stay here on a hill. Not everyone is fortunate to live on a hill, especially if you live near the coast, because the land tends to flatten out. So if you're lucky enough to live on a ridge, bravo, kudos to you. But the rest of the population living near sea level, yeah. And that's why down, and I'm using Outer Banks as an example because I'm learning more and more about that territory or that region. Outer Banks, many homes are on pilings. And I mean, some pilings are 10 feet high and up, okay? And it's because, they're not up high. They're very close to sea level, if not sea level. And the trade-off is the beach and the tourism and everything like that, um, in exchange for flooding. And I'm thinking of Alexandria right now, Alexandria, Virginia, because there's parts of Alexandria that's prone to flooding. Everyone who lives there or has businesses there know this. And whenever we have like days of rain, they're always getting sandbags and trying to, blah, 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 and whatever. But the point is, the location is near DC. It's a waterfront property, and they make tons of money. So the trade-off is the flooding. The native investor says soon all this will be underwater. Florida will be gone. Yep, Florida. I heard California is supposed to kind of break off and be an island. But yeah, if you do a Google map, if you just look at Google Maps, just zoom in, let's say around Bermuda or the Atlantic Ocean somewhere, and you see highlights in the water, because there's different elevation underneath the water, and you can kind of see where there was once land there that was not underwater. So yeah, things are changing, guys. Let's see. Winsingerful says, I'm in Western Connecticut, but snowstorms are our struggle. Yeah, I have folks up there in Connecticut. That's the thing, snow. Further north, you're going to get that snow. Probably more so now than in years past, probably. I just really haven't been paying much attention to the northern regions or northern states, because we all know it snows up there. But as far as the level of snow and the intensity of snow, I have no clue, unless Weather Channel or some national news says this is not, normal. Then I pay attention. Yes, it's been a very mild winter this year. Yeah. And of course, we're going to pay for this later. Very rainy for me. It's been a very rainy, most of the southeast, I think, it's been a very rainy season. Yeah, very rainy. And then it's like, okay, so are we going to have a drought in the summertime? We're going to have all this rain now, and then come summertime, are we going to be under water restrictions, wildfires and all that stuff? I remember the first time I saw a wildfire warning on the Weather Channel, or just, whenever they have segments of the weather on a regular local news channel, and they say, we have a wildfire watch. I'm like, why are we having wildfire watches? What does that mean? So somebody broke it down to me and says, when there's no humidity and it's hot, then there's a higher chance of there being a wildfire. And so where I'm from is humid, right? We have humidity, but if you're in California or somewhere over there, you hear about wildfires all the time, right? So when I saw that, I said, what do they mean? We have a wildfire watch. What's that? We didn't have a lot of humidity during that time period. Because I was like, oh, I don't feel like, I'm smothering or whatever. It doesn't feel that hot. I didn't know the true essence of what 98 degrees was. I felt the heat index, right? But 98 degrees for me with no humidity, I was like, oh, this doesn't feel as hot. No, that's what 98 degrees feels like without humidity. So yeah. Winsingerful says red flag warnings things flash up. Yeah. For instance, you know, lightning bolt could start a fire. All right, guys. Well, it's getting late. 9:30. I haven't had dinner yet, and I need to prepare for my trip tomorrow. Meaning, try to get to bed a little earlier so I can get up at 5:45 in the morning and make it happen. Um, Native Mister says you need to read the book about Wilmington, a Black Wall Street that was destroyed. Were you the one who was telling me about that? Um, Late 1800s, after the Civil War, blacks were doing well, but the whites got jealous. They're always jealous. Still jealous. Still jealous. It's interesting how you have a group of people who travel globally, and for whatever reason, the majority of them that had the power and money or whatever, it's like they couldn't just go into a region and live in harmony with the people already inhabiting the area. It's like they had this sense of jealousy and pissed off that they were jealous of people that didn't have as much as them. So I think the bulk of all of that happened throughout the generations globally, the root of that was jealousy and fear. And they still jealous and they still fearful. Thanks, sweet. The goal is to enjoy and to be safe. Thank you. I will receive that well wish from you. Yeah. Native Mister says it was all kept secret. I guess you were talking about the Black Wall Street in Wilmington. It's a lot of stuff that I need to unveil in the eastern part of North Carolina. Like I said before, with my channel, I want to dive a little bit more into learning more about what we don't see as tourists, right? As tourists, if you're in that region, you're not going to hear nothing about no Black Wall Street in Wilmington. I've been to Wilmington before. I went to the beaches there. I ain't seen nothing, no reflection of nothing that ain't have nothing to do with white folks in their superiority or whatever. It was all kept secret. When Singerful says, or valued other things. Okay. Native Mister says, yes, because they killed so many people. Yeah. Anyway, thanks, guys, for watching. I appreciate you. You could have been doing anything else on a Friday night, but yet you chimed in to watch your girl gibber and jabber about things that has been on my mind. I have so much to share and talk about, but it's just I'm taking one day, one topic at a time, maybe 2 or 3 topics. But I got a lot going on behind the scenes, and so I may record something this weekend. But I feel like this weekend is going to be a lot of organizing and things of that nature, and not much time to chill out where I can focus on doing a video or doing a live stream or whatever. But anyway, I appreciate you guys. Thank you. And you guys be blessed and be a blessing to others. Uplift other people. If you're in a position to be uplifted, help somebody, uplift them too. You know, pass that blessing throughout. You know, and thanks for enjoying my conversation. Thanks for chiming in and contributing to this thought process that I was doing. Because the first hour, guys, I feel like I was talking to myself. So I'm glad you latecomers came in here to kind of bring this video to life. But anyway, I am going to end this video. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. You have a great weekend. Stay blessed. Be a blessing to others. Until next time. Toodles.